Who am I besides everything she just said on that list? Because you know how those things can get long. And I put a student of life, a winner, and chosen. And you may say, chosen to do what? You get to choose whatever you want to do in life. But just know that we are all chosen. It's just a matter of if you step into the idea of knowing that you're chosen. See, as I've shared with many of my athletes in the past, only you can do you because you're the only you there is. So literally there's something that only you can do. There's literally somebody who can do the exact same thing as you, but they're not you. And so our title for this morning is going to be The Will to Win, the motivation of your mind. Now notice, I said will to win, right? I didn't say the talent to win. I didn't say the knowledge to win. I didn't even say the skill to win. I said the will to win. And when you talk about will, you know what that breaks down to? It's a choice. It's effort. I've talked to coaches across the country, across the world. Every single one of them says, for the most part, they can deal with a lack of talent. They can deal with a lack of skill. They can deal with a lack of all sorts of things. But what they will not tolerate is a lack of effort, a lack of willpower, a lack of choice to want to do better and overachieve based on wherever you are in your life. So we're focused on the mind here, and our first point this morning is going to be what fuels you. And I'm glad Ms. Vanessa had touched on this already. She basically said, you know, who are you if you're not an athlete? Notice it says student athlete. See, it's hyphenated. Student athlete. The student part, that's what we're focused on, because once again, we're focused on the mind. So who are you beyond just someone who can hoop, someone who can run a football, someone who can catch? Remember, a third of your life, at best, a third of your life, you actually have on the other side of that hyphen. So what fuels you? I was driving down the street one day and I saw a billboard and it said, good enough isn't. So when you say good enough isn't, it brings us into our title today, because understanding that it's not about just getting by, right? It's not just about good enough. See, one of the things I didn't say when I was coaching those gentlemen is I don't do mediocre. I don't do okay. I don't do average. Like all of those words to me are like profanity. To just show up and just be like, I just want to get by. The mental aspect of the game, the mindset of the game is literally the backdrop of everything. It is literally the foundation for life. My most recent book back there titled I'm More Than Enough deals with self-love, self-care, and the mental attitude you have about yourself. And I've done the studies to realize that every aspect of your life has to do with how you see yourself when you look in the mirror. There is nothing in life. You can throw any scenario in front of me and it will come down to the idea of when you look in the mirror and say, you know what? Do I love me as me? And can I do me? Because when that answer is no, it's going to affect every area of your life. Know that the human mind is literally the most powerful mechanism on the planet. There is nothing stronger than what you have right here. It's the most studied yet least understood computer in the entire world. And the beautiful thing is that we've all been given one. A lot of times people are saying, you know, well, why do some people achieve and why do some not? Well, it's quite simple, and I don't know which one of these switches works, so I don't want to just start hitting switches and then we, shut the whole thing down. But basically, if you turn off, perfect, thank you, appreciate that. So, the light was just turned off, correct? And that light switch is in the off position. Is electricity still going to that switch? Electricity still on. So basically, the idea that you can illuminate, the idea that you can think, the idea that you can grow, the idea that you can do great things is always available. However, how many of us are actually turning on the switch? So it's off right now. We all have a human mind. However, if you never turn the switch on, then you don't get the full capacity and you don't get the illumination that we have here this morning. Mental strength and mental performance is so needed in this generation more than ever before because there's so much information coming up to you and the information is just like in your lap. You know, I was joking the other day. I was like, I was in school where you still had to go to the library. You see those things on the shelf over there? Those are books. We had to pull those off of the shelf. We had to go through that little card system with the little short pencil and the little paper. Oh, this is the section right here. And you're like, okay, let's get all the books we can from this section on that title. It's like, oh man, now we got to go to Q. We had to dig. We couldn't be like, Siri, tell me about Napoleon. And 97,000 articles pop up. We couldn't do that. We came during a time where you had to use 7 books to do a report. But that's why you have to be so mentally strong, because what happens is that you're still 15, 14 years old. However, you have 20, 19-year-old information coming into your head, and there's a conundrum going on inside of you. So mental strength is going to be at an all-time high. Something that I've learned over time, when you have access to information so easily, now you don't work quite as hard for the same things that we had to get when we came through. And so that trickles down into other things. You know, I tell people all the time, I was like, it doesn't matter if I go to a school in the suburban or I go to a school in the ghetto. Entitlement is everywhere. I focus on your parents a lot in here because their job is to get you to a certain point, but once they get you to that certain point, it's on you. For the most part, I realize everyone is in here because they want to go to college, correct? Because see, your only job is to get a job, and your job is to get a scholarship. And you know why you need to hurry up and get a job? To get off of your parents' payroll. My dad always tells me I gotta pay those dues. When I was coming out of high school, going to college, son, you better pay those dues. Graduate from college, I made it. Nope, gotta pay those dues. Moved up in the world, got me a house, got me a car. I'm like, yeah, this is it right now. Son, you gotta pay your dues. And it took all that time for me to realize you never stop paying dues. And so I need you all to understand you gotta pay those dues, take those losses, enjoy the process, and make this thing happen. And our last point is our now. Say NOW. Stands for New Opportunities Wanted. There's always a next level. There's always another opportunity out there that you have to embrace and take in. To me, you are considered young adults. Because why? Because at 13, you had the same information I had in my head at 18. So your next opportunity is there for you. You have to be able to embrace the process. You got to be able to take those losses. This is the opportunity for you. It is right here in front of you. Be open, be receptive, be great, and let your scoreboard do all the talking for you. That's my time. I'm out of here. Thank you.